advantages of Twitter over Facebook?
Well, there are a lot of different advantages and disadvantages. The biggest advantage about Facebook is that it's an open but closed network. That you're limited to the people who you really know to see what you have to say. So that, but see, if you happen to represent, a line of beauty salons or a line of restaurants, you don't want that limitation because you can't have just anyone to find out about it. But if you're an individual and you have friends and you want to share information with them, it's a wonderful place to be. But on Twitter, you're not bounded by anything. You can have millions of people conceivably see your page. In addition, you can have an unlimited amount of people follow what you have to say. And they don't need your permission. So it's really totally open. But there's a serendipity there too that people can discover you. And that people can discover you much more easily on Twitter than on Facebook. There's a responsibility there that when you do tweet, you say something that has some value. Because I believe everyone at this table, they may not agree with me, but everybody here is a brand. So you may work for a brand, but you have a personal brand. And that, like I just went to a conference in San Francisco. The 140 conference had a San Francisco version last Thursday. I accidentally was co-located at a spammers conference. And it was really funny co-locating my conference with a spammers conference. They don't call it was SES marketing. It was SEO, search engine optimization, all this other stuff. At the end of the day, what do these people care about? Of course, is getting the message out and closing deals. And of course, I would throw some of the advertising backlinks into that same category. But these guys are very proud of the fact that they spam. And so spammers are not authentic. They hide behind phony email addresses. They don't care about being verified. They don't have to be real. When I look at Facebook, when I look at Twitter, it's a total opposite. I mean, even though you can have a brand, I look for everyone to be an individual person. And I look for a level of being authentic, being validated, being real. And because what I discovered actually on Twitter is love. I mean, and then you can actually connect with people's feelings. And same thing on Facebook. I mean, there's a really good ability to connect with real people, and so I take this stuff very seriously. I mean, a long time ago, when I was growing up, my only way to communicate with the world was at my ham radio, and I grew up in a world where it took me 3 years. Imagine taking 3 years to get a license to go on the internet. From the time I was 9 to 12 and a half, I was absolutely obsessed with getting a ham radio license, that I had to learn Morse code, electronic theory, and the rules and regulations to be a ham. But when I was 12 and a half, I never shut up. And I used to be on the radio 40 to 60 hours a week. And when I talk to people on the radio, I tune a dial, I hear a voice, I get to know the person. I never met them, but I know their story, and I can feel their presence, and I can jump in a conversation if I want to, but I always listen. So I feel that I learned everything I need to know about social media by the time I was 15. And when people tweet me, I hear the tweets. And when I'm writing them, I'm really speaking. So for me, it's a much, much different experience, but I take it much more personal. So, as far as the differences between Facebook and Twitter, the thing is, 3 years ago, Facebook opened themselves up. And if you're a developer, have any friends that are developers, the summer 2007 was amazing for Facebook because you could write an app and have millions of people discover it. Facebook got jealous. What did they do? They got really upset that you would write a check for $300,000 to an agency to create a great app for you, while Facebook made nothing. So over the last 3 years, Facebook changed the rules of engagement, where you had to you could have the app built for you, but you had to pay Facebook money to advertise the app so other people discover it. And I just find that obscene. So, but as far as, for some people, Facebook's where it's at, and it's terrific. But Twitter doesn't limit me of how many people can follow me. So, now, but of course, I also think Twitter numbers, I think all the numbers is all bullshit. I mean, if you happen to be the chief marketing officer of Boeing and 100,000 people follow you, but nobody buys airplanes, who cares? Who cares? And if you're the chief marketing officer of Boeing and 3 people follow you, but those 3 people are the buyers of 3 major airlines, you're doing pretty okay.
Thank you, because there's a discussion about being authentic and being yourself, and it ought to be in person on Twitter. But if you're a business, and several of us work with businesses to use Twitter and other stuff, is what's the point of doing that if you're the business, unless you are going to build relationships with customers that are going to drive sales at some point. I had a guy call me up last week and said, "Can you come over and show me that tweeter thing?" said, I want you to set me up on Twitter. And I said, I'm happy to do that, but what do you want to do with it? Why do you need to be there for your business? So this guy owns a couple bars, and he said, I just want to talk to people. I said, well, do that from behind the bar. You know, you don't spend your money doing it on Twitter unless you've got a real specific step to do. And he really hadn't thought through yet. How am I going to make the cash register ring if I'm going to do this for my business?
But you know what? Particularly for businesses today, investing in social media, I try to get people to forget about the ROI they know about, because that return on investment may or may not be there. But I look at two other ROIs, actually three. I believe there's a return on inspiration, there's a return on innovation, and there's a return on integrity. If you layer those together with what an ROI is, you're doing fine. But for some people, you have to invest something to be authentic and real. And you know, some people don't get that, right? Some people think it's like one for one.